Yeah. Hi. Today's guest at Deep Dive with Varuna is Soumya Gayatri. She is an IT professional and she does have two little kids. Along with that, she is a lifestyle coach. And hi, Soumya. Thank you very much for being my guest.
Hi, Varuna. This is such a pleasure to join you on your deep dive today.
Okay.
It,
Yeah. Let's get this starting. You are an IT professional and you're busy with a full-time job and two little kids, handling them, taking them to errands, activities and all. My question today is like, why did you end up being a life coach? What motivated you to become a life coach?
Such a fantastic question. And I remember when my daughter was born, and I had always struggled with confidence issues, with weight issues, and self-esteem issues. Um, I was an IT professional who did not believe in herself at all. I was constantly questioning my skills. But when my daughter was born, I decided that she would grow up differently, that I would try my level best for her to not be riddled with self-doubt and grow up with a bad self-esteem or doubt herself as much as I did, because it was really crippling for me. That in that minute when I held her for the first time was very life-changing for me. And with my work, then I started to work on myself, right? Because the first step is always to heal ourselves. So when I healed myself, and I got to a place where I felt so different, like I couldn't recognize the kind of person I was, I decided it was time to step up and help the other women in my community and around me, not just in our community, because that purpose was that desire was huge in my heart to help others. And also, more or less, sometimes I would have some colleagues of mine come out and reach out to me. Hey, I'm stuck here. How do I process this? Or my mom's not feeling well. How do I process this? And I enjoyed that process. It really was very gratifying to be able to help somebody out. It felt like, oh, wow, I am something beyond me, right? And that's when I really started to look into how I can really help people, right? Because giving free advice is one thing, and giving the right kind of advice and steering people towards what they want to achieve is a different thing. There are skills behind that. So that's when I decided, I stepped up. I became a health coach first from IIN in 2012. I graduated in 2012. My daughter was 1 year old. And recently in 2022 May, I became a certified life coach with a life coach school, wherein they give us mindset tools to actually change the way we think so that we can achieve any big goals that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. I feel like weight loss comes with change in mindset shift rather than stop eating or dieting. I feel it's more about how you think about food, your relationship with food. Can you explain how changing our thought patterns would help us get what we want?
It's an interesting question and quite a loaded question. I'll try my best here. Varuna. If I go off a tangent, feel free to bring me back, right? Like, hey, Soumya, we're off track here. I hope to land the plane eventually. Okay, so here's what happens. Our brains are used to thinking the way we think when we were kids. Okay, so think about it. When we were kids, up until the age of 25, our thinking has always been forward focused. Like, we're thinking about the job, and we're thinking what education to take and what masters to do, whom to get married, whether this person is right, whether to have kids, right? Okay, at a certain time in our life, around 25, 30, 35, all our thought process becomes very past focused. We go back to see how we have been taught a certain thing, and we bank on that a lot. Okay, with that comes all our experiences with food that we have had in our childhood. Okay, if we saw our moms dieting, trying to all constantly lose weight, or we received a lot of comments on weight growing up, it is natural that we feel we have to yo-yo dieting. Okay, as women also, we are constantly marketed yo-yo diets. Okay, most diets, most pills will have pictures of women on them. So we are also psychologically, we are marketed towards that, to be a certain shape, to be a certain size. Okay. Plus, I think there is a certain amount of lack of education around how to process emotions, how to think differently. Okay, we are always taught there is a right way to do things. right? This is the right way to eat. This is the right way to do that. But what we are not taught is how do you achieve that right way of eating.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to talk about body shaming, because there's a lot of body shaming verbally or by the looks, like how do you handle body shaming? How can they start working towards their body rather than taking it inside and getting depressed or upset, angry? There are a lot of emotions that get stuck inside the person when he or she is being constantly body shamed.
So first, let's realize that body shaming is something that is their perception of our body. Okay.
Wow.
First and foremost, that's the biggest thing we need to realize. And also that we are buying into their perception of how we should look.
Okay.
Okay, that's when we accept it. That's when it starts to hurt. Okay. Let's think about it. If I am a person who is very fair skinned, okay, and all my life, the narrative is to be fair.
Yeah.
If suddenly somebody comes and tells me you need to tan and you need to look a little darker, okay, but everybody around me has always told me that being fair is the best thing on the planet, I'm going to be like, are you ridiculous? You're just being ridiculous. Who would want to get dark? Okay, like, what are you telling me? I'm very comfortable the way I am. I love the way I look. Why would I change? Right? Notice here, I'm not buying into the other person's perception. Versus over the years, when you have been constantly taunted on the way you look, the way your skin color is, the way your hair texture is, I know personally how we are treated, right? Like,
Yeah.
every part of us is kind of picked up. And over the years, and when this process happens at a very young age, we tend to accept these perceptions. Let's also be very honest. Okay. We have not developed the skills to be able to say no to them or to put space between what they are saying and what we are thinking.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So it's our job to learn these things at this age. Okay. What happened in our childhood happened, right? Things around us worked however they worked. They were things out of our control. As kids, we have very little control on what's happening around us or how people behave. But when we are at a certain age, about 25, about 30, with kids, like for me, when I was a mom with young kids, I realized I had to take ownership of how I thought and how I felt. Okay. So if somebody came and body shamed me, I had to learn to either accept it or reject it. Okay. And that's the work, because first and foremost, what matters is what I think about myself. When I think I'm fat, when I think my hair is messy, I don't look good, when I think my teeth are not the right kind of teeth, or I think my cheekbones are not high enough, or I think my arms are a little fat, or my thighs are thunder thighs, and I'm constantly talking to myself like that. Okay. And I don't think I'm beautiful. When somebody comes and tells me, oh, you have thunder thighs, oh, you have put on weight, oh, you are dark, oh, whatever kind of comment, oh, this is how you look when you grow fat. Because that's the comment I got as a young mom. When my baby was 1 month old, my second baby was 1 month old. I remember a very close person who I thought was my friend told me, oh, this is how you look when you're fat. It hit me. Okay. It hit me first and foremost because my hormones were all over the place. Yeah. I had a little young baby of 1 month old. Okay. Yeah. I was sleep deprived. So my cognitive thinking was out of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There was no scope for me to think straight. Right. And also somewhere I believed in what she told me. I believed I was fat somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing is self-acceptance. We have to work on accepting ourselves where we are. Okay. That what I believe about myself matters more than what others believe about me. Okay. And then I'm told, but Soumya, isn't that not right? Like, then you become like so arrogant, and so you become so pompish, and you become so like you think you're better than others. No, there's a difference. There's a difference between believing I am accepting myself where I am, how I am, and that my body has helped me do a certain number of things, and feeling gratitude for my body versus believing I am the best thing that happened on the planet and not looking at my flaws. There's a difference there.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a process. It's not something that we should even aspire to be overnight, because in this space where we think that everything should happen like this. Okay.
Yeah.
The changes in our life should happen like this. I should lose weight. I should achieve my goals. I want to make 100K in my business. It should happen. My podcast downloads should be 100K overnight. Like, or my kids should get whatever grades they should get, or I should be driving a Ferrari in 2 years. Whatever it is, in this day and age where we are constantly being marketed as a easy fix, a quick fix, overnight success,
Yeah.
this process can take time, because what you're really dealing with is the mindset that you have generated over years. So first you have to question these thoughts. Why do I think I'm fat? What is the evidence around it? Right? What is something I am willing to think other than that my thighs are fat? Right? Like for me, I've always told myself, oh, I'm thunder thighs. I've always passed that comment about myself. Okay. So suddenly, if I have to now accept my thighs, what do I say? Okay, those are thighs, right? Like these are my thighs, and what else can I think about it? Right? I can think that they've supported me. I have had 2 babies with them. They have held my hips up. They help me walk every single day. I have strong legs because I can walk for miles together. That is one thing I can do, right? My thighs never hurt. My feet hurt, but my thighs never hurt. Okay. So it takes time. It takes this process of trying to see, okay, what is the other perspective available here? And once you do that process for yourself, where you learn to accept yourself some place or the other, like to some extent, if it was 0%, you come to 20% first, right? Then you get to 40%, then you get to 50, and then you may come back to 40 because something happened, right? Then you go up again. Okay, it's a process. Being willing to be in that process, and then you can tell people, hey, I don't appreciate the way you speak about it.
I think you'll get the courage to even say that, once you accept yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's very informative. I think it's a bulb-on moment for me, because changing the narrative of how you speak about yourself internally does definitely help. So we all in the podcast viewers are around like 35 to 45-year-old based on the algorithm. So they might have like a 10-year-old kids. How do we help them how do we educate them so that they are not getting conditioned with what we are talking to ourselves?
They will get conditioned. That's why this work is paramount for moms. I believe this work is not optional for moms. Okay, whether you have a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter, because how we talk to ourselves will always come in front of it. Like, I'll give you a small example. Growing up, I never thought I was pretty, and I had to dress a certain way. I had to wear a certain color. I had to dress up everything, right? And it affected me because I was constantly hearing comments about myself and talking loudly like, oh, this is not looking good. Oh, I have grown fat, right? Your kids absorb that kind of talk no matter what. You cannot keep them away from this conditioning if you're talking that way. And if you are constantly weighing and talking about weight, oh, my weight went up, oh, my weight went down, oh, my weight went up, oh, my weight went down, oh, now there is an event coming up in the house, I have to lose weight, oh, I can't eat rice. Like, these are subtle things that happen around the house that we don't even notice. Okay. Oh, I can't eat rice, I'm on a diet. Oh, I can't eat the fried food, I'm on a diet. Oh, I'm on a diet, so I shouldn't be eating the ice cream. I'll start on Monday. It's okay. It's a weekend. I'll stop now. I'll eat on Monday. On Monday, I will start. Your kids are listening, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Yeah. So this work, hence the reason that this is a paramount work for moms. I really don't think this is an optional work for moms, because we have been dealing with this diet conditioning for a very long time and body shaming for a very long time. But here's the deal. It is possible to change yourself with the tools available out there. Okay. It is very much, very, very, very possible. Because the other day I was wearing some very crappy stuff and we decided to just go out, and I looked at myself and I passed a comment. And my daughter's like, Mama, I think you should be wearing something different. We're all so dressed up. And I said, listen, I look beautiful no matter what. And I took a picture right there and say, see, my smile decides how I look.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how I am dressed. My confidence comes from my smile. Okay. Look at and then I took a selfie of the three of us. I showed it to her. I said, see, I look fantastic. Look at this picture, right? Because that's what's going to happen, right? At the end of the day, it's my belief about myself that it's my smile that matters, and not the amount of makeup that I've put up or the kind of clothes I'm wearing, because I look good no matter what. That's my belief now. And that passes to my daughter. If I'm telling my daughter I have fat fingers, like, Mama, don't body shame yourself. I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I'm doing that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think that's needed in these days, because we are being conditioned so bad. Our generation was not even, our parents' generation were not even aware of talking about dark skin, like finding a groom. There are like immediate relatives who keep saying like it's really hard to find a groom for this kid, or like that so and so's daughter is more pretty than, they would just pass these comments so lightly that it impacts the kid's life. uh Sometimes it's irreplaceable to change their perspective as well. Okay.
And
I
I
would
do
like
believe
to.
in those times, Varuna, I'm going to stop you right there for just a minute. I have a small comment. I think it's our right as our mothers right now to protect our kids. So if we find somebody weighing our kids and saying, hey, you've put the weight on, you can tell that, hey, we don't talk about weight in our family. We don't discuss weight in our family. Okay. I do not put any restrictions on my kids whatsoever. If they are eating, hiding in the pantry and stuffing their face, I tell them, hey, you can come out of the pantry, no questions asked. Sit in front, take a plate, take a bowl, and eat. No questions asked. Okay. I don't weigh myself constantly in front of my daughter. If anybody starts a conversation about weight, I'm very quick to say, hey, not right now. Maybe later. Maybe later. Okay. It is our job as moms to step up and let them know that, hey, this is not how we treat ourselves and how we talk ourselves. And I'll be honest, Varuna, you'll be very surprised at the narrative these young kids have. They're actually way ahead of us.
Yeah.
And they know all the right things. Like, this is not how you talk to yourself, and this is not how you do this. And this is you're shaming them, you're being color specific, you're being gender specific. Like, they are very tuned to all of this. So I think a little help from us, and I think they'll up level very easily. I think the way we had no conversations of this sort happening at all. Okay. But for them, they do have some conversations happening in school.
Yeah.
Right?
Some education,
Yes,
some
it's
awareness.
happening. Yes. And to your comment about that young girl who is being told that, hey, you're darker, the other person is fair. Here's what I invite her to do. Today, I invite her to step into her power, because that has happened. That is what I say about past thinking. This is what has happened in the past. We got to learn to let that go. And what we need to work on is our new perception of ourselves. I think that's powerful, because it's like, if you have ever had an ex, I didn't, but if you ever have an ex and you are with somebody new, and or you say we are all married. So let me give you this example. You're married, but every time you go out of the house, you look at somebody and say, oh my God, I wish I could have a relationship with that hot young man. He looks fantastic. Do we do that?
No.
We don't give ourselves a choice, right? We are very dedicated and loyal to our partners, and we don't even think that way. Like, I know it's the same thing when you go back to your past every single time.
Oh, okay.
Every single time you go back to your past, oh, that auntie commented like this. That's why I can't believe about myself. That's just happened. That's happened. That's in the past. What do you decide to believe about yourself today? Right? As a 35-year-old, as a 40-year-old, as a 41-year-old, that's the power I have today. I can tell that person just didn't know enough. That person just had no education whatsoever. And they may have done their best. They may be telling the truth, what they think is the truth in their
perspective. Right? Yeah.
Right? But that doesn't mean that today I need to accept that.
Yeah.
I can decide today what I think about myself. And that's the power of this work. Okay, we can stop giving out these passes to others and say, hey, you get to decide what I think. You get to decide how I feel about myself. No, I get to decide how I think and feel about myself.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, I think that's what we need to shift our mindset. So I would like to divert a little bit from this conversation And there's always next time. I would like to bring you again because you have a wealth of wisdom regarding the mindset. And by the way, for the viewers, I would like to bring it here. Soumya has a Facebook group called Women Who Love Their Bodies. Do check out. She has wonderful content in that. She does share her snippets of her knowledge and then her experiences. They're eye-opening. That's how I end up meeting you. And so do check it out. And another thing that I would like to bring is Soumya has an event on August 12th. Could you let them know what it is about, Soumya?
Sure. So this training here right now is focused on cravings. So if on August 12th at 12 p.m. EST, 9 a.m. PT, I have a cravings, Beat the Cravings clinic happening. What that means is we are all busy women. We are all busy moms, IT moms. And the last thing I want to give a narrative of is you need to work out for so many hours to lose the weight and feel good about yourself. Or you need to really work a lot to fix your emotional eating. What I really believe is to make our life easy. One of the real things, skill sets that we can learn is to beat our cravings. Imagine this. If every day at 8 o'clock you get a craving to eat a certain food, or at 10 o'clock you get a craving to eat your food, and that could be one of the reasons that is resulting to weight gain. How easy it would be if you learn to beat those cravings, if you did not indulge it. At least at the minimum, we would maintain our weight. Right? And it would make our life easier without adding something new to our life, right? Without changing our diet, without changing our exercise patterns, okay? Without changing the way we eat. If you could just learn this one skill of handling and beating your urges, to beating your cravings, you could at least at the very minimum not gain weight and be in maintenance before you level up with other small changes and weight loss becomes imminent. Okay, so come join me August 12th, Beat the Cravings Clinic, invite your friends, let's have fun, let's learn something new, and let's learn to implement this so we can just make it easy for ourselves. Like, I'm so tired of the paradigm that you have to work really hard to lose the weight.
Yeah. So here, I think this will lead to another question of mine. Emotional eating. I'm a big emotional eater, and I know I'm aware of my thoughts, but how like most people are not even aware of their emotional eating habits. Could you dive a little bit onto that? What is emotional eating? What are the thought patterns that makes you open the fridge, dig deep and eat that last piece of cake? Or it could be like chips, a bag of chips, a pint of ice cream.
This is a very, very big question. I will try my best to cover it. But first and foremost, I think there are two things happening here. First is the habit brain, and then there's the emotional eating part of it. Okay, the habit brain is if we have trained ourselves to eat at 12 o'clock every day, your stomach is going to be hungry at 12 every day. If you have over the years learned to treat boredom with food, that's what your brain is going to do. Or if you have been in a habit of eating popcorn every time you watch a movie, your brain's going to be like, hey, we're watching a movie at 10 o'clock. Let's go get some popcorn. Let's get some ice cream. Let's get some nachos. Like that is the habit brain part of it.
Okay.
The other side is with moms that I find that happens usually is at the end of the day, we are tired. We have been running the whole day. Work's been stressful. The kids have been stressful. Life has been life. Right. We've had some shitty moments happening. Maybe our parents are overseas and something's come up there, or some relative was being a total shit show and somebody said something, or your friend said something. Maybe your best friend said something that hurt you.
Yeah.
It could happen. And the only way we have learned to process these tough emotions where we don't really feel good about ourselves is to resist them, in the sense that don't feel them because we feel very uncomfortable feeling them. Okay. And there are certain tools that I have that I've learned life coach schools that actually learn that you can learn to process your emotions. Okay. When you learn to process your emotions, emotional eating will reduce over time. It's not a magic wand. Okay. Let me be very honest. You can see a lot of improvement in 6 weeks. Okay. But it will take a lifetime to master certain situations. Like if you feel very strongly about something, okay, the stronger the emotion, the stronger the thought around it. All right. So say I feel very, very strongly about, I'm trying to give a very hypothetical example here, that, that I can explain. Okay. For me, I used to feel very strongly about smoking cigarettes, right? You can't just do that. Like that's a hard pass, hard no for me. Okay. And other than that, somebody jaywalking in India, it's very common. Okay. So I would be like, I don't care. You're jaywalking. You'll be fine. Like we do that all the time, right? Notice how I don't feel so strongly about it because it's very normalized. Okay. On the other hand, over the years, with the kind of socialization that I have had, I feel very strongly about smoking cigarettes. So I could get mad if somebody is smoking a cigarette because, oh my God, how can you do that?
Yeah.
Right? These kind of thought patterns exist in our day-to-day life around certain things. How could somebody treat me like this? How could they call me silly? How could they call me stupid? And then we go on this barrage, right? In our own brain, right?
Yeah.
I'm like mad. I'm raging in my own brain. Now, to calm myself down, I think I need food because that's my habit. That's how I have, right? So the first thing is becoming, so if you want to start seeing a pattern, the best way is to start writing it down every single day, what you're eating and what you've eaten without judgment. Like that is a skill we need to develop. I think a lot of us just pass judgment on ourselves for no reasons. We are human beings. We have certain learned skill sets, frankly. And judgment is one of them. And we pass judgment on top of judgment. Okay. So if I invite you to have a very curious mind to see, okay, I'm trying to resolve this emotional eating. Okay. I'm trying to see what I'm doing and that why do I resort? So what's going on? Right. So write down everything that you're eating. And when you start seeing a pattern that every day at 10 o'clock, I am eating a pint of ice cream or it's salty food. See, it doesn't matter. It's just what you are more accustomed to. Some people hate sweets. They don't dislike sweet stuff. They like salty stuff. So they'll reach for a bag of chips. Others will reach for a pint of chocolate ice cream, or somebody may hate chocolate ice cream. They may reach for vanilla ice cream. It doesn't matter, right? It's what you think you like. Okay. But at the end of the day, it doesn't serve us in the long run with what we are. It doesn't teach us how to deal with our emotions. Okay. And when we ignore emotions, they become bigger. Okay? See, what we have been taught is either ignore it or restrict it. No, I can't feel this way. Why am I feeling this way? I shouldn't be feeling this way. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. That was one of the very big points I used to have. I should not be feeling this way. Yeah. Okay. And the more pravachans I heard from all the gurus, I was told I should not be feeling this way. So then I would pass more judgment on myself that something must be really wrong with me because I'm feeling a certain way. Yeah, I agree. We feel it's a sign of weakness, but it's not. We are getting aware of what our feelings are. Yes. And when you begin this process, you will notice a lot more about yourself. Yeah, the nasty stuff comes out. Right? Because now you're throwing light on every aspect of it. Okay. Passing judgment is going to make it that much harder for you. Try to be curious and see, hey, I'm just trying to understand myself better. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's a pattern here. Okay. And then if it's 10 p.m. every day, I would ask myself, what's going on? Why do I sit down? Okay. And why am I eating a cup of ice cream every day or a pint of ice cream every day? One of the best ways to be starting it is reduce your pint of ice cream. Take it in a cup and a bowl. Promise yourself you'll eat only 2 cups. If you're eating a pint, promise yourself you won't eat from the carton. You'll pour it in a bowl and you'll sit down and eat it. You won't hide from somebody and eat it. You'll eat in front of everybody because secrecy can be a huge point as well. We tend to eat when nobody's around us. Sometimes for a lot of us, that can also be this, right? Eat around people. Accept your urges. Accept your cravings. Accept that, hey, this is how I deal with things emotionally. Okay. Till I find, because listen, our brain's primary objective is to feel better. Okay, that's why we scroll on the phone so much. That's why we watch television so much. That's why we eat food so much, because we're getting a lot of dopamine hit from it. And that's our brains. One of the brain's primary functions is to feel better, to have a dopamine hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we at least accept this is how I have learned to take care of myself. So I am taking care of myself, even though I'm emotionally eating, I am still taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Because this is the only way I have learned to take care of myself. If I take this away, I am going to be paralyzed. I'll become a nut. I won't be able to function. I won't be a decent human being around people. I won't be a good mom around my kids. I'll be angry at them all the time. And I don't want to be angry at my kids all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So if I can eat 2 bowls of ice cream, feel good, be settled, so the next day I can function as a mom. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Why not?
Yeah. Wow. So I'm a mom, so I'm always curious to know or learn the ways to help my kid not develop those, like unwanted things. So if we relate, like, I think most cultures relate food for everything, like for celebration, for this, for that. How can we change that mindset? How can we not associate food for, or going out for partying, or going, like if something happens, we try to go out and eat, or so unknowingly we are relating that, okay, this is how we need to celebrate. If we are, like, how
Yeah,
can that?
so I think this is a two-way thing, Varuna. It depends on what you think is right or wrong. For me, honestly, I don't think there's anything anymore. I used to feel this way about 2 years ago before my training as a coach and everything. But after my training as a coach, what's really come to light is food is something that connects us. And if we choose to celebrate with food, then so be it. What I do want to teach them is to stop at satiety. What I do want to teach them is to stop when they think they are full. And when my daughter says or my son says, I'm not hungry tonight, I'm not pushing curd rice on them. No, 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 no. How can you sleep on an empty stomach? I'm not pushing a banana on them. I honor their body signals, right?
Okay.
So there is nothing inherently wrong. And I don't ask them, are you really sure you want to eat so much? If my daughter says or my son says, I'm going to finish this much, that's fine. My son is on the leaner side. He's 8, right? So constantly people try to push food on him and dishonor his own body signals when he says he's full. But I honor his body signals. He tells me, Mama, I am full. I let him leave that 1/4 piece of a waffle behind. I let him leave those 3 pieces of apple behind. I let him leave those 5 bites of food behind.
Okay.
Okay, because I am teaching him that yes, trust your body signals. And over time he has gotten only better with it. He's like, no, I can't eat more than this. And for him, he's like, I'm going to throw up, right? And that's my trigger too, like, oh, don't throw up, right? But then I had to notice, oh, I am willing to let him stop if he tells me he's going to throw up, but I'm not willing to let him stop when he says he's full.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so then I had to really take a step back and say, okay, what if I trust him about himself? Right? It's the same thing with my daughter, right? I do step in. If I think they're going on a sugar rush constantly, I do step in. I do tell them, hey, drink more water. I'll make sure there is some greens in the house, right? Like my job as a mom is to balance their meals on the other side of it. Okay, so if you've been partying for 2 weekends straight, Monday, Sunday night, I'm like, okay, this is guys, let's kind of go back to eating home-based food. Let's go back to drinking more water, right? Let's get some movement in, because, and also that movement is, let's go out for a walk. I'm taking a walk. Would you like to join?
Yeah.
Right? It's not like we have to walk the food off. We're not walking any food off.
Yeah.
We're not walking any cake off. We're not walking any waffle or any donut out. Okay.
Yeah.
We are walking, frankly, because I am at an age now where if I'm not active, I get backache. Okay. So now, recently, if my lifestyle has gotten a little sedentary, I have massive back pain just from a lack of exercise. I need to walk. So my back pain goes down. So the conversation is, I need to go for a walk. Do you want to join me? Right?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, my son will always join me. 5 times out of 10, my daughter will join me. I have to kind of prod her, hey, let's go out, let's get some fresh air. Right? But the narrative is not there. We are going for a walk because we enjoy to take a walk. We're going on a bike ride because we enjoy biking. We stay active because that's best suited for our bodies, because we get good sleep at night. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not doing any physical activity because we need to burn our calories.
Okay, so that's not there at all in the conversation. Yeah.
Burning calories is not in the conversation at all. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, it's more of we are an active family. We go out, we take walks, we go to the park. They
Yeah.
have seen me last 4 years. They have seen me actively being in an active lifestyle wherein I work out or I take walks, right?
Okay.
Uh, they see me saying no to food. They see me telling, no, I'm full. I want to stop now. I really
Okay.
have no business eating. I'm full.
Okay.
They've seen my husband saying, hey, I'm not hungry at night, so I'm not going to eat either.
Uh-huh.
They've seen my husband, they've seen me saying, hey, I need to prioritize my sleep because I am tired. I haven't slept well. I'm perimenopausal now, so my sleep is really affected at night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So they hear me saying all these things, and that matters. That kind of a conversation matters.
Mm. Yeah, I
That
agree. I think
Yeah, and that
that's,
conversation will happen when we change the way we think about food.
yeah, I think it
Okay.
has to come from us to
Yes.
impact them.
Yes.
Yeah. So, how important is changing our mindset versus eating the right food? Like focusing only on dieting or working out. I think based on the conversation, mindset is more important, and it helps maintaining our weight as well after we lost weight, maintaining our ideal weight. But could you dive in how important, or what is that is needed when you start changing your process? Could you talk about nutrition if you can, a little bit?
So I'm going to again, as I said, this is a very loaded topic too. I'll try my best. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to come back to the Facebook group or ask questions under this YouTube, under this podcast itself, when we're happy to answer, because maybe there are some open-ended points here that I'm dropping off because
Yeah.
I'm not able to kind of come back and cover everything, right? So if any questions at any time, please feel free to ask. Feel free to connect on Instagram or on Facebook or in my group and ask the questions so that everybody can learn from it, right? It's not just one person; everybody can learn from it.
Mhm.
Um, Come back to what you're saying, mindset. How mindset is important. I want to give you a story. 2 years ago, I was already working out well. Like Corona had hit, I was working out twice a day, in the sense that I would do my HITT or my weights in the morning, and in the evenings I would take my kids out on a trail walk. We wouldn't go to the park, right? So on the trails, I'm walking with them. I reached a very good hygiene. I reached very good. My habits were in sync because hey, Corona, everything came down. There were no
Yeah.
activities, nothing, right? But here's what happened. Once the world started opening up, I started to get very fearful about weight management because now the parties were coming back,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
The parties were coming back. People were starting to meet again, right?
Mhm.
Schedules were changing. Here we went from working from home 5 times a day to again going back to work 2 or 3 times a day, right?
Mhm.
Kids were going back to school, right? Their activities were coming back. So the predictability of eating at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., that predictability went out of the window, right?
Yeah.
We had a certain schedule on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the certain schedule on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, fear started to grip me. Can I eat this food?
Mm.
If I eat this food, will I become fat again? Will the weight come back again? If I
Oh.
don't work out today, I'm going to skip and all the weight will come back. I will lose all the progress I have made.
Mhm.
Okay. And the amount of fear that grips people, mostly it will grip us when we lose the weight, is very high because we haven't learned to lose the weight the way we want to live it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. When we learn to lose weight only on diets, we don't give ourselves a chance to handle life.
Mhm.
Okay. We don't let us give ourselves the chance to handle when I'm in India or I'm traveling abroad. I'm in Europe. I'm traveling. What do? I'm on a cruise. What do I do? Right? Because the narrative is eat and pig out on these vacations, but then that doesn't help with my goals that I have for myself, right? But
Mhm.
the pressure is so high from everybody as well, so it becomes very hard if you
Mhm.
don't work on your mindset, if you're not clear on how you want to approach this. So one of the clear ways that I have, that I work with my clients, is I tell them, hey, eat what you can eat. It doesn't have to be perfect 24/7.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to eat your protein goals all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest things I found for myself is if I drink a organ protein that you get at Costco. Okay. Nothing hi-fi. But it says on that list, it says 2 scoops make 1 serving. But what I found was for me, 2 scoops would leave me bloated. I couldn't handle 2 scoops. All I can handle in my body is 1.5 scoops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now if I was to give somebody else the key and the path to this and say, no, you must be right because you said 2 scoops. It has to be 2 scoops. Okay. And I suffered the entire day and my family suffered it with me. Right? What's the point of it? What's the idea here? How long can I do this 2 scoops?
Uh-huh.
Versus if I do that 1.5 scoops and I'm not bloated and I find I have energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's going to take me longer?
Yeah.
How long can I have a perfect diet?
Okay.
Right? That I don't eat any fried foods and I don't eat any chocolate and I don't eat any meetha. Like Diwali will come and Holi will come and there will be a party. What are you going to do then?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our mindset is key.
Okay.
Okay. Either you will eat, like if you are not learning how to talk to yourself around food differently, either you will completely pig out on this and you'll feel like I'm an uncontrolled person. Okay. I have no control on myself. You'll eat whatever you see because your brain's going to tell you, hey man, we haven't eaten this food. Everything gives me a dopamine hit. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. Right. And then you come back home and you judge yourself massively and you go back into this yo-yo dieting cycle again. You'll talk about how you need to fast because you've eaten too much last night and your kids are picking up on that as well. Or when you will restrict yourself so much that you are again going to say, what's the point of this? I'm always restricting myself. I can't seem to have fun.
Yeah.
Right? Mindset is key because you can decide what you want to eat at a party. You can decide you can have fun without food and you will have fun. And when your brain tells you, but we didn't have any fun because we didn't eat that fourth dessert, you can come back and tell your brain, but remember, we ate 2 desserts and we had fun without the fourth dessert.
Okay. So yeah, it's all the narrative that we tell to ourselves.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's important to, honestly, I think mindfulness will help anybody with this kind of work, but you need to have real tools in your hand to change the way you're thinking. It's not going to happen because you think you need to change. Because those neural pathways are very strong. Okay. And here's how I talk about the neural pathway. You know, when I used to come out of my house, I have to always go to the right to get on the freeway to go to work. I have done that for 4 years. So I come out of come out of my driveway, take a right, come out of my right. So there were so many times that I had to go to left because the store was on the left and it was not my regular office day. Yet my brain would say, hey, come out, take a right. Okay. Yeah. And if I had to take a left, I have to really tell myself, okay, Soumya, you would come out of the driveway, you have to take a left. That level of mindfulness is required because this neural pathway that is now in my brain about coming out of the driveway, going right is so strong. It's such a habit, right? Yeah. It's such a habit. It's like if you've always walked into a room and walked out of the room, switching a light off, how many of us have done that, even with people sitting inside?
Yeah. Especially the restroom, right?
Yeah. Right? I'm right here, man. I mean, my husband's walking out of the room. He's switching the lights off and I'm taking a shower. But for him, it's his habit brain. It's activated. It's an impulse. It's not, the habit brain is so strong. Yeah. Right? They won't even notice you're taking a shower. Or you're in the changing room inside the closet and you need the light on. They'll just put it off and walk out.
Yeah. If both of us are brushing our hair, like one of us would be turning off the light because he thinks it's just that neural pathway that has been cemented.
Yes. So in the same way, over the years, the way we have related to food, the way we have related to our bodies, the way we have related to being around things, the restriction, the dieting is so huge. Honestly, the diet culture is so huge, right? That it takes work. You need to have actual tools to kind of shift your brains away from it. Okay. And learn the way to change the mindset. It can happen over time. I'm not saying it's not. Okay. Or it can take 1 year if you do it by yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Or it can happen quickly with the work of a coach. It's up to you how you want to do it, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong about doing it by yourself. There's absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah. And I think it's a lifelong process, right? Like we keep on evolving. There's no point where we stopped like we learned everything.
Yes.
Life happens, we just have to keep on working on ourselves.
Yes.
Um, there are so many coaches available for different needs. How important is coaching to people? When is it that they think, okay, I worked enough, or I am not getting where I want to? uh, I want to know, like, how a coach can help for give the tips to the people, help them or guide them.
So, right, I was just speaking about it. This tells you the exact thing that I do as a coach. I actually will help you change the way you think about it, because I know your neural pathway. As we speak more, I'll realize what your neural pathway is. And my job is to keep redirecting you. Okay. It's like a small child who is a toddler, right? They want to do something that is not good for them, but they keep going good because they have not learned the skill of impulse control. But as parents, it's our job to pick them up and turn them in the right direction. Eventually they'll learn. Right? And once they learn that skill, they have it for life. Okay. So the tools that as a coach, you should be looking for a coach who has tools with them that you can learn and then apply it to other areas of life. That's what happens with my clients. They'll come to me for weight loss, emotional eating, but they find their relationships are better. The kids are talking to them better. They can hold, like, they have stopped people pleasing, right? So because the same work applies across areas of your life. Work, they go back and get raises at work because now suddenly they're so confident in how they think and feel about themselves. They're like, what, you give me a 5% raise? No, I want a 10-15% raise. And they get it because often we don't ask for it. And now they have also learned, have the confidence to go ask for these raises, right? Right? Or step up and say, hey, this is not how I want things in a relationship. Right? Because we have always been quiet. So the work will definitely translate to other areas of life. But first, I really, really recommend for anybody to first kind of just choose one area in your life that you really want to focus and just work with tools on that one area. Okay. A coach will help you in most areas of your life, but take the time to put your blinders on and say, I am going to focus on this one goal. Instead of having 10 goals at a time, focus on one goal, get that done, learn the skills, and then apply those skills to other areas. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with having a coach for the rest of your life if that's what it is. Because it's not about whether, honestly, for me, it's not about I need them. It's more about I want them. I like it. I like the support I get. I like that somebody's sitting there and saying, calling nonsense on my thinking patterns.
Yeah.
Like, stop this. We already spoke about this. This is nonsense. Remember, this is not what it is. Because over years, what has happened is we've gotten used to look at the negative evidence in our life. So we need somebody to show us the positive evidence in our lives so that we can train the new neural pathways. Okay. Now, when do you get a coach? I think we can all benefit from getting a coach most times of your life. But here's when you want a coach, when you feel stuck, when you feel like you have reached at the end. Like, I have the awareness that I am doing some things wrong, but like not even wrong. I'm doing things that are not in line with my goal. Okay. There's nothing right or wrong here. There's no morality associated with eating food or not eating food. Let me be very honest. It's just about whether it's matching your goals or not. Okay. And if they're not even a top 5 of your goals, then when your brain tells you you're doing the wrong thing, ask your brain why. Like, that's not even a goal of ours. So why are you even jumping up right now? Okay. Like, what's the point? If it's that important, can we raise this? If your brain is constantly telling you that your goal number 5 matters more to you, then maybe it's time you bump it up to goal number 1. That's the first thing. Okay. So the second thing would be, I took a coach when I found that I know everything, but I'm not able to apply it. Application is not happening. Why? Because my brain loves to stay where it is, right? My brain fears change, but I desire the person I want to be after that change has happened. That is a deep core desire for me. Okay. It's not about, for me, it's not about whether my health will be bad. Like, medicine has, for me right now, the morality around lose weight loss is not really there, because I feel like we will do it, if the food, if shit hits the fan, all of us are going to start running and making changes that matter to us. It is about doing these changes when shit doesn't hit the fan. because that's when you have the time to live a very high quality of life.
Yeah.
Okay. And so get a coach because you desire the change. Get a coach because you think that, hey, I don't know what to do next. Get a coach because you're not applying what you already know and there is something in your brain that's stopping you. Get a coach, especially if you have some kind of a condition that doesn't help you get to the goals. Like there is a lack of knowledge, like true lack of knowledge, and I am not the kind of person who's willing to put in a lot of time in it. I'll be very honest. I like to fast track things.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like to sit and wonder how I can figure this out by myself. That is not the kind of person I am. Okay.
Yeah.
I love getting fast tracked. You tell me what to do, how to do it. I will step up and I'll get it done. Because I really think as moms, hard work is not something that we're missing.
Yeah.
We're all very hardworking.
Yeah, we are already.
Because you want one, because you desire one. I think asking for help is not a bad thing. Honestly, there's nothing wrong about me because I get help. I think that's one the thought process we need to get over. Because I think when we were growing up, if we didn't know something, we were always shamed.
Yeah.
Shame was a huge factor. Oh, you don't know this? The teacher's job was to teach us. They would ask us a question. When we didn't know it, they would be like, shame us. Oh, you don't know this? Like, how am I supposed to know this? I'm here in this class because I don't know it. If I knew it, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
That shame also is,
And sometimes even asking a question, we feel so, we think we might be stupid. Other people might think we are stupid, like even getting that voice to even ask is again something like really, really big to change our mindset. So if people, like after watching this podcast, they might want to read or study a little bit about mindset. Do you have any recommendations on books that they can look for?
There are quite a few books, but I recommend the Life Coach School podcast. Go ahead, sign up for that. There's a beautiful podcast. You can listen to that. Coming to my Facebook group, I have a bunch of trainings already written there, laid out step by step on how to do these things. Come in with the commitment to learn and to apply it, not just listen to it, right? Block off a time in your calendar where you're going to really pay attention to it, right? Come on in if you want to learn about weight loss and stuff. My trainings are very detailed. They're not fluffy.
Yeah.
Of any sort. You get so much information. You can transform your life just by listening to my free trainings. Honestly, they're so good, right? There are a bunch of, so I like that podcast. Books, I can get back to you. The Atomic Habits is a good book. There are so many books out there. Becoming by Michelle Obama is a good book, right? Like there are so many genres of it. You got to really pick what you like. Yeah, there are quite a few books actually, Varuna. Doesn't come off the top of my head, but I have been a podcast junkie. That's what helped me, because as a mom, sometimes it can be even hard to sit down and read a book. If I'm driving somewhere, if I'm walking, that's when my personal development happens. I'm on a podcast listening to something if kids are not with me, or I'm listening to a training on a Facebook group and I'm walking. Right? That's the way I double I can make use of my time.
Yeah. Like do two things in one go.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then I take some time to journal in the night on whatever is really stopping me or getting in the way, right? If somebody is really looking to get started with mindset, firstly, slow down. Like that's my biggest recommendations. As moms, as busy working professional moms, we are really running dime to a dozen. Really. Our schedules can be blocked. Slow down, enjoy the meal, sit down and eat, right? Don't be in a rush to eat. Block that time off. Tell your kids, I have put TV for my kids in the past so that I could eat peacefully. Like, or my husband's been taking care of my kids, whatever, however you need to engage them, right? Sit down and eat your meal, right? Say no to a lot of, I have done this, it really works for me. Say no to having back-to-back social engagements on the weekend. Decide that one day is going to be yours. Either it could be Friday night, Sunday night, or Saturday night, or afternoon, or morning, anything, right? Like take that time to slow down and just be with yourself. 10 minutes of solitude without coffee, like without being on the phone, without listening to something, right? Like even if you don't meditate, just listening to the sounds around you, like how's the weather, how's the sky, how are the clouds, how's the grass feeling on your feet,
Yeah.
right? These mindfulness techniques that we have been taught from the get-go can really help slow us down, right?
Okay.
Really asking a question, do I really want to show up there, right? And if I don't want to show up there, why am I showing up? And then being honest to your friends and to you. Like, honesty can be such a gift to our friends. Like, we can teach our friends it's okay to say no. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm really, really tight this weekend. I have had back-to-back weekends. I really can't make it. I want to, but I cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to ask you about journaling, how important it is in your life. I journal a lot. I journal and I buy really fancy journals for each of my moods, like whether it's for eating or whether it's for my thought process. So how important is it for personal development?
Journaling can be very important. It depends on what type of a person you are. Okay, I'm not going to make this a rule for anybody. I journal on and off. I don't journal every day. Okay, I journal when I'm really stuck with something. And it helps to journal because if you go back and see the same pattern developing over the last 2 years and you have not been able to shift it, time to get a coach. Okay, but it can be very important. But again, what are you journaling on? That's the most important part I think we need to focus on. Are you writing a dump of what happened in your day, or are you really journaling to see what can change in your life, in your situation, in the way you have handled the situation? Because a lot of us think writing and dumping it like a diary is also journaling. That's not journaling. Journaling is when you use your prefrontal cortex to actually resolve a problem from your best self, right? Like, if I am asking myself a question, if I'm just dumping everything that have happened in the day, and I'm not asking the right questions to challenge my brain. Okay, why did I turn to food today? What is my relationship to food here? What kind of a person I would be if I gave up white rice and white flour, and I gave up sweets for 1 week? What will get in the way for me giving up desserts for 1 week or sugar for 1 week? What's my brain thinking? These are some questions that are really worth journaling on.
Okay.
Okay. Just writing a diary is of no point because then you're just kind of confirming what you're thinking.
Okay.
And then we have a confirmation bias.
Oh, okay. Great.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So it's important to journal on the right questions.
Okay.
Right. How can I be better tomorrow? What can I do differently tomorrow to get closer to my goal?
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like today was this, okay, today was a shitty day, say things didn't go well. Okay, what can I do tomorrow? Say the same thing is going to happen tomorrow. What can I do better tomorrow given the same life circumstances?
Okay.
Or today went well. So what went well today? What was my thinking process that things went well today? What did I think? Oh, I can do it today. It's just today, right? You want to capture those thoughts because that is your version of how you can be successful, right?
Okay.
That's why I always recommend my clients to write what they're going to eat the beginning of the day.
Okay.
Right? Because I tell them, stop throwing spaghetti at the wall. What sticks? I'll try keto. I'll try low carb. I'll try high carb. I'll try low fat. Whatever that is, right? High protein. Stop doing that and start seeing, when you start writing down and you write down your weight and you weigh yourself, you start seeing a pattern. Oh, this eating pattern serves me better. I lose weight when I do this.
Yeah. Wow. So,
And then
yeah, that's awesome. Like you have got so many insightful points, nuggets, and then thought-provoking prompts, writing prompts for the viewers.
Glad that helps.
Yeah. So, this is just the first session. I'm sure we're going to meet again. Okay. I just want to bring back to the Facebook event so that a lot of people can get benefited from your training. Could you tell again to the viewers?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for giving this chance to me, Varuna. I want to let all the moms, IT moms out there know that there is an easier way to handle your health. Okay. And this event that I'm doing is focused more on the cravings part of it. I am going to talk about the tools that I use to actually get over cravings in real time. So that you can lose the weight faster and you can stop emotional eating faster, right? I think we need to find ways that are easier for us helpful for us in the long run, and not that are so strict that you have to follow it, right? I'm not telling you to measure food. I'm not going to tell you to count your calories. I'm not telling you anything, or you have to eat only a certain way, like you have to eat only vegetarian, or you have to incorporate meat, or you have to do keto. No, you can be doing any kind of a diet, but this one tool in your toolbox is going to help you say no to food when you don't want to eat it. When your brain tells you, I want it, I want it, I want it, and you can get in line with your goal, and you can tell yourself no and say no for today. And that is very powerful shift. When I got that shift, my weight loss, my weight fluctuations, all of that started to get slower and slower and slower, because I'm not binging anymore. Right? I'm not binging anymore. I am learning to stop. And I'll talk to you about the different phases of how it's going to look like when you start to stop cravings. I think that is also important, because so often when we think beat the cravings, some of the first thing that comes to my mind, oh, I'll stop eating desserts altogether, right? Like, oh my God, this clinic will help me do it. No, that's not the process. I want to give you a very realistic process. Okay. I want to give you a step-by-step process, and I want to show you the different phases that will help you beat the cravings. Okay. Yeah. So it's on August 12th, 12 p.m. EST. It's a Saturday. Log in, take notes, ask questions. If you come into the Facebook group, feel free to ask me questions beforehand so that I can answer those questions in the training, and you can get your answers right away, right? We are 2-3 weeks out. Add your friends. Add your friends. Let's make this an event where all of us can come out with, right? Have a supportive environment around us. And yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. Thank you, Soumya, for being my guest. I really, really enjoyed listening to you. There's so much wealth of knowledge you have provided to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
Yeah. Have a good one.